Hey, what's up? I got some more 2xKO content for you guys. My name is Tempo and I will be your one-stop shop for 2xKO news and gameplay. Now here's my full breakdown of which marksmen I think have the best chance of being added to the 2xKO roster. So for some quick context, I've been playing League of Legends since Season 1, and I'm also a fighting game enthusiast, so I have a pretty good understanding of how certain kits would translate from League over to 2xKO. But also keep in mind that this is meant to be a fun discussion video. This is my personal tier list and opinion, and you're free to have your own as well. It's very likely that some of the champs I put in low tier could make it into the game one day. Make sure to drop a sub if you're new or a like if you enjoy this kind of video. I'll be going through the rest of the champions in future tier lists. Make sure to comment below where you think some of the champs belong, or just which ones you want in anyways, regardless of likelihood. With that, let's get right into it. So as you can see, the tier list that I'm using also included Azir and Kennen, which are more like mages to me, not marksmen, so I will be covering them in a future video and just put them in their own tier. I think we should also start with putting Jinx basically in, because she practically is. We've actually seen Jinx in 2xKO's current form after the big visual overhaul a couple years ago, but we haven't really seen her since. I'd expect to see Jinx maybe very soon. I would hope around the end of this month, because we're getting Japan Evo in late April, so I'd like to see Alawi be playable in those builds, and then also get some confirmation on Jinx and what her kit is going to look like. But for starting the actual list, we're going to be going in what looks like alphabetical order here, so we'll be starting off with Akshan. Now, Akshan's a really cool one to start with because I think he is going to be the de facto hard maybe, and I have a couple reasons for this. I think Akshan actually does have like a viable kit direction to go for in 2xKO. Like, imagine he can grapple hook across the top of the screen, right? And that's really good for skipping neutral, just being able to fly across the screen and then start some pressure. Maybe he does some like aerial stuff, or you can also hook against the wall and then be able to get pressure that way, like approach, stuff like that, and just have like these really cool mix-up options. But I don't see it being right away. I think Akshan is probably a character that's going to be added way later down the line, but I can see him getting scrappy, having some melee attacks, you know, some sweeping kicks, and then also just grappling around. So I think he'd be really cool in a fighting game, but I don't think he's either likely or unlikely at the moment. Aphelios is probably a little bit higher on the priority than Akshan, so I'd put him in somewhat likely, because Aphelios is a fan favorite character, and I think there's actually a lot of really cool stuff that Aphelios could accomplish in a fighting game. He could probably be like a zoner or keep away character with his different guns, stuff like that, and he can also get up close with the red gun, Severum, and be able to do like some slicing combos and stuff like that. I would immediately think like Hitman from DNF Duel, but with a lot more options, right? A lot more stuff, a lot more utility with the guns as well. So I actually think Aphelios has a really real chance, but it's not super likely. And next we have Ashe. So I have a couple things about Ashe. Ashe is a very recognizable character. I would say she is a fan favorite, as she's also like, you know, one of the older tutorial characters. So a lot of like older players to League of Legends, the first character they see and have any interaction with is Ashe. So based on that, you'd probably want to put her pretty high, but I can't feasibly think of like what a kit would be like for her in a fighting game. Yeah, I don't know. Ashe, she doesn't really seem to fit in my opinion. Yeah, you could do like some bow stuff, and this is probably going to be true of Varus as well, but I feel like anything she could do, like Akshan does, like a bit cooler, and also makes a little bit more sense in the fighting game landscape. So I'm going to put Ashe in either somewhat or very unlikely. I would say somewhat, because I actually think there is maybe like some direction they could go and make it make sense. She's definitely not very unlikely. As you'll see, there's a couple of those in here. Next, we have Caitlyn. Now, Caitlyn's a really cool one because we also have to consider Arcane, right? With Arcane success, I feel like a lot of players want the Arcane champions to be put in just based off of popularity alone. We already have Jinx in there. We already have Echo in there. And then a lot of people really want Vi, and she just makes sense as a brawler character. So she's very likely going to be in too. So like, we would be missing Caitlyn and we'd be missing Jayce. So we do have to think about that argument when considering their inclusion to 2xKO, because I think popularity is going to go a long way for some of these characters. So Caitlyn is probably at least somewhat likely. Now I have to think, is she going to be somewhat or very likely? And honestly, it could go either way. Ooh, this is tricky. Caitlyn, somewhat or very? I think just because like the roster is going to be limited, right? 14 characters. I don't think there's going to be a lot of room for ranged projectile type characters, and Caitlyn's kit would be exactly that. She'd be putting a trap on the ground, she'd be shooting her Q, Piltover Peacemaker, in a straight line, and she'd probably be playing Keep Away, net to push her back and stuff like that. But you know who else is doing pretty much the same thing is Jinx, and she's already going to be in the base roster. So because they don't want to double dip on multiple like characters having the same kit, I feel like Caitlyn is not a shoo-in like we think she is. I think she's somewhat likely. But yeah, that's like her kit just being too similar to others is probably keeping her away from very likely, in my opinion. And next we have a Corki. Corki's really cool. I really like Corki, but I'm just going to very quickly put him in very unlikely. This should be no surprise. I literally cannot see Corki in a fighting game landscape at all. Like, just none of it makes sense. He'd be like a really, really scuffed Bowser Jr. from Super Smash Brothers, and even then, like, it's still more wonky. So yeah, unfortunately for Corki, I don't think he's like a super fan favorite character either. I know there's some Corki mains out there. I know the Corgi skin goes hard with the Corgi butt, and I'd love to see that in the game, but yeah, nah, it's just very unlikely for sure. And next we have Draven. Now we're getting into it. Draven, huh? Draven would be really, really dope. He's the glorious executioner. He could definitely get scrappy. I feel like in League and other like cinematics and stuff like that for League, he doesn't really get up close and personal because that's just kind of his whole thing is he throws axes from range, right? But I actually feel like he could brawl it out and then like start spinning his axe, go catch it. Oh, but how do we translate that? I just realized that's a really, really awkward mechanic to put into a fighting game. Throwing the axe and then being in a specific location, it would kind of be like a set play type character that wants to like set up different areas of the map or like different areas of the stage, you know, and then like interact with that somehow. And like, but dude, that is so unbelievably weird. I think like based off of personality and how cool he is and the fact that he is kind of like a fan favorite champion, a lot of people like Draven. I actually just don't see his kit working at all in a fighting game. So I'm going to put him in somewhat unlikely. He has a chance over Corki for sure, but I think Akshan would make more sense. So I think this is actually a perfect spot for him. And next we have Ezreal, League of Legends golden boy, huh? Little Ezreal. Okay, so Ezreal is definitely going to be our first spot in the very likely category. I think 2xKO would do a great disservice to not have Ezreal in, especially base roster. I think Ezreal is a shoo-in, and I would be like betting a lot of money on this, all right? If I was a betting man, I would say Ezreal's in pretty much guaranteed because his kit actually does make sense in fighting games as well. He'd be a keep away character. You can think like he'd shoot a mystic shot, you know, diagonal at the ground. He could shoot his mystic shot forward, another one up in the air, and then use his teleport, blink backwards, and just basically play a proactive zoner that wants to be like a little bit more mid-range, but also have ways to back out, you know? So he wouldn't be like Jinx, which is going to be like a true zoner, I think. He's going to be more like mid-range hybrid, like a zoner character, and also have some like scrappiness to him. So yeah, he's definitely going to be in because Ezreal is a fan favorite. He gets so many skins. He's a very popular character in multiple cinematics. So I definitely think he's just a shoo-in. And next we have Graves. Graves is another interesting one. Thinking off the top of my head, Graves could dash. He does have his shotgun. Can I see him moving around with shotgun in hand and also doing like melee stuff though? Because that's another thing is like the characters need to have some kind of like melee fluidity to them so that they can do hit strings, right? They need to be able to combo with some melee attacks. Can I see Graves' model doing that? Not really. But you know, we do need some Bilgewater representation. We have a Lowy in there already. I'd love to see Graves too. I feel like Graves is either unlikely or a hard maybe. Maybe... Is he over Draven? Yeah, he's over Draven. Is he over Ashe? Yeah, he's probably over Ashe. I think I'm going to put Graves in a hard maybe. If he's not in the base roster, which he probably won't be, I actually see them adding Graves later down the line, especially if the game wants to have equal representation among regions. I feel like he's one of the better Bilgewater champs, right? Because, like, they're not going to put in... Oh, hey, they could put in Nautilus. Pyke is probably in. Anyways, we'll come to that when we get to the future videos. But yeah, I'm going to put Graves in a hard maybe. Next, we have Jayce. Jayce is somewhere in between somewhat and very. I'd put him at like the top of somewhat or low very likely because Jayce has the arcane hype. He also has a kit that makes sense. He also has a lot to work with, right? His source material is so high. Being able to do hammer form, do melee combos, swap into gun form. Actually, okay, you know what? The more I think about it, Jayce is very likely. I actually think he'd be really cool in a fighting game. He'd be like a stance character, but like he's in his stances for a long amount of time. So yeah, he could definitely have some fluidity to his combos. I actually think, you know how sick it'd be if one of his specials is literally just swap, right? Swap from gun to hammer form, and then he could do that like mid combo. So you could do like ground slam into like swap to gun, do acceleration gate shock blast. Like, I don't know. Wait, he actually translates so well from League, it's kind of disgusting. I can actually see it in my head. So yeah, Jayce, he's definitely in, especially with Arcane hype. And Arcane Season 2 is coming out around the same time that 2xKO is going to be being pushed. So keep that in mind too, guys. Keep that in mind too when we talk about the character inclusion. So Jayce is actually like closer to a shoo-in than I originally thought. That's cool. Next we have Jhin. Jhin is a very well-designed character. I think Jhin is probably the coolest character. He's one of my favorites. If this tier list was based off of like who I want, I'd put Jhin in very likely. But can we make a kit for Jhin? He'd be a similar kind of keep away character as Jinx and Ezreal, putting traps on the ground, straight line skill shot. He'd have a little bit more CC. Maybe he could like stun people in place and then run in and do like a quick melee combo plus use his pistol for like extensions. I could see it. I could definitely see it. He's also, you know, very much loved by the community. I think he's really cool. I think he's a very strong personality that would actually translate really well to 2xKO, especially his art and how like fluid he is. Like, wait, Jin's actually up there. I'd put him above Akshan and Graves, but probably below the Piltover boys. So I'm going to put him in somewhat likely next to Aphelios and Kate. I think that's pretty fair. Any of them do have pretty strong potential. I'd love to see Jhin though. Again, if this was my personal tier list, I'd put him next to Jinx. I want Jhin. Next we have Kaisa, one of League of Legends' more recent poster childs. She came out and received a lot of popularity. She got a lot of skins in a very short amount of time. She's pretty much everywhere. Kaisa's always relevant in the meta. She's just always good. Can we fit her into a fighting game? She's been in multiple cinematics. We've seen her move around. She's very dashy. She could have like some mobility and some range, especially mobility to go in. I think she'd be more proactive than Ezreal, but can she make it? I actually think that she does have a feasible kit that I'm thinking of right now, some things that she can do. I'd probably put her below Jhin and above Akshan. I wasn't going to order the tier list, but maybe I'm just going to do it every once in a while. But yeah, the order is not within tier, so don't worry about that for the most part. But I do think Kaisa does have more of a chance than Akshan and less of a chance than Jhin, so I'm kind of leading her to a hard maybe, but I could also put her in somewhat likely and also be happy with that spot. Next we have Kalista. Kalista throws a bunch of spears, rips them out. Is that it? She also dashes. No. Yeah, no, I can't really see Kalista making it. She'd be kind of cool though. Like, imagine if she takes her spears and like actually uses them for physical attacks. But at that point, wouldn't we just put Xin Xiao in over her? Yeah. I'm not really seeing like any way that we get Kalista in. She has no redeeming quality to like actually make a feasible kit over the characters above her. So I'm going to put Kalista in very unlikely next to Corki. Next we have Kindred. Kindred is one that I've seen a lot of people on the Reddit say that they want in, and I've even seen some like design concepts of Kindred in the 2xKO art style, and let me tell you, it looks really, really, really good. I do love Kindred. I think that they're a shoe, and I'm gonna call Kindred they because wolf and lamb, right? Kindred is probably, you know what? They make a lot of sense. I'm gonna put in somewhat likely because I think their dashing makes a lot of sense. I think they could probably be in not enchanter, sorry, what's the word? Puppet master type character where you maybe be able to control Wolf too and have Wolf do some attacks, and then Lamb also comes in and does some attacks with him. And then you kind of get like this really cool duality type character, and I think that's going to be necessary in 2xKO, and I think that like fills a certain role that's not only a design choice but also a character archetype, right? So I actually think Kindred has a lot of potential, so I'm gonna put them in somewhat likely, probably even over Aphelios. I actually think Kindred's like super real. Next we have a Kogmaw. Kogmaw has absolutely no chance of making it into 2xKO in any form. I feel like he might be the last possible champion that would ever be put in, because he just doesn't make any sense. What is he gonna do? Just sit there and spit over and over and over? That's it. That's his whole kit. He's gonna spit and then spit more. His Q and E is both spit. His W makes him spit faster, and his ult is more spit. And I just don't think 2xKO needs that amount of saliva. So because of that, he's just very unlikely. I don't see Kogmaw being in a fighting game. Next we have a Lucian. Lucian would be really cool, right? Basically heading the Sentinel of Light storyline in League of Legends. If we're ever going to put Viego in, which we need to, by the way, Viego's probably going to be in 2xKO. I think we need Lucian and or Senna or Thresh. Yeah, we kind of need all of them, don't we? Because I just think that'd be a really fun storyline. It'd be so fun to see the characters play together. I really want Lucian in, and I actually think his kit can be translated to a fighting game relatively easily. He's got the dash, he's got the guns and stuff like that. He can also do some like kicks. So I could see him in the same way that I could see Ezreal, or that I could see Aphelios or Caitlyn, probably above most of these guys. So I'm gonna put him in somewhat likely. Probably around there seems pretty good. Next we have Misfortune, everyone's favorite redheaded pirate. Misfortune. Does she make any sense? Oh yeah, okay, she does. I'm thinking about it. She could be another really hard projectile spammer like Jinx, which leads me to think that she might not be in base roster, but she could be added later. Taking that into consideration, is there anything else Misfortune can do? Yeah, I mean, she was in Ruined King. She had a pretty cool kit over there too. Again, mostly projectiles. So I think Misfortune is a hard maybe. I definitely put her above Graves actually, because I think her kit and like her movement would be a lot more fluid and less clunky than Graves. So I think she's above him for sure. Probably around Akshan and Kaisa. Something that I could see, but I just don't think is super likely. Yeah, I think it's a pretty fair spot for her. Quinn and Valor. Quinn is not really a fan favorite. She's actually really niche, right? Sometimes I forget Quinn is even in League of Legends. So she is in Legends of Runeterra. Have we seen Quinn in like TFT sets? I don't think I've seen Quinn very frequently. So I don't think she's ever going to win a popularity contest. I think she actually does fit the fighting game landscape quite well. I think Valor coming in and being like an assist, or like, you know, a pet kind of character. I forget what they're called. So like, think of this, right? Annie and Tibbers, or Vex and Shadow, or who did I have over here? Kindred and Wolf, right? So Lamb and Wolf. They'd probably be like puppet master characters, whereas Quinn is more like a summon. That's what they're called. Yeah, I got to it. A summon type character, where she puts things out on the field and then they like swoop in. So Valor could have like a swooping attack, comes from the sky, hits high. Could also have one where Valor comes in low, right? And it's like a straight line, things like that. So she'd be like a very cool summon type character. But again, popularity is going to keep her very down. So I'm going to put her in somewhat unlikely, because I think she does have like a kit that makes sense, but she's not super popular. Next we have Samira. Now here's my take on Samira. I think Samira was meant for a fighting game. I actually think she makes more sense in a fighting game than League of Legends itself. So I'm gonna put Samira in the toppest top of very likely. I firmly believe Samira is going to be in base roster because it would be insane of Riot to not put her there, right? She just makes too much sense. She's already Devil May Cry inspired. Dante is in multiple fighting games already, like MVC, and also the Scuffed Dante is in PlayStation All-Stars. Shout out to that. I don't know how many of you know that, but Dante from DMC Devil May Cry is also in a fighting game. So, and that's what she's based off of with that whole system of like the hack and slash. She's going to feel really good in the fighting game format. She's going to slice. She's going to have really, really good combos. She's going to have gun as well for like just extra chip damage, or maybe even put some stun on it and she can combo off of gun. That would be so cool. And yeah, I think Samira would probably be one of my mains. She's one of my favorite characters to play in League, and if they translate her even half as good as what I think they could do, she's going to be insane into XKO, and she's definitely in. Next we have Senna. Senna's kit translating automatically makes less sense to me than Lucian, so I'm going to automatically put her below Lucian. So the question is going to be, how far do we go down? Are we going put her in hard maybe, unlikely, or very, right? I think the way that she functions in League probably leans her towards very unlikely. I just think she'd be clunky in the same way as Graves, but also have absolutely no way to salvage that just massive heaping gun that she carries around. It kind of reminds me of Ram Lethal from Guilty Gear, right? But Ram Lethal, the gun, like the big thing is floating. Senna has to carry that all the time. So, I just don't see it. Next we have Sivir. Sivir is also going to be in one of the more unlikely ones, because she's just kind of like one-dimensional, right? She's very linear. She just throws boomerang, throws a bigger boomerang, and then sometimes she throws a smaller boomerang and it ricochets, and that's her whole kit. Then she has spell shield and she runs fast. So yeah, there's just no way. There's no way they can make that into a kit and also make it cool and make sense and also be above like anyone else that would already be a shoo-in. So yeah, Sivir's very unlikely. Smolder, the newest AD carry. Smolder is also going to be put in the very unlikely tier, right? Or somewhat. Probably very. Probably somewhat. I actually don't know. I'm kind of torn. I think he's definitely on the unlikely side. I don't see him being near Draven, though. No. Draven, Ashe, Quinn. No, I kind of like where they are, so I'm going to keep him down here. Yeah, Smolder's kind of like the same issue as Kogmaw. I just don't see it. Also, his small size would be kind of annoying to deal with. Little spoiler, we're going to be talking about Yordles very soon and my take on Yordle characters in 2xKO. But Smolder, I just don't see it working out too well. Next we have Teemo. Okay, so alright, let's talk about the Yordles. I do think there is going to be Yordle representation in 2xKO. I'm going to do a big spoiler for a future video. I think Poppy is my #1 choice for a Yordle making it in, okay? Even though Teemo is the most popular Yordle, he is the fan favorite Yordle, the most recognizable, the one that everyone would want, but his kit would be very hard to translate, and he'd be just kind of wonky. He'd be a joke character, if anything. So I think because of that, he does have somewhat likelihood of being able to make it in, but it's not higher than the other Yordles that I'm thinking. I would think Poppy's #1, and then Rumble or Kled are next because they're on mounts, so their size makes a little bit more sense. However, short characters can be done in fighting games as long as it's done correctly. So think like Charlotta, I think her name is, from Grand Blue. And do not think about Yoda from Soul Calibur. Please do not think about Yoda. Just think about Charlotta, okay? And it does work. There are shorter characters in fighting games. It's going to be kind of annoying. A lot of people are going to be like, oh, a Yordle, oh my god, they're dodging hitboxes and stuff like that. But there should be a way to balance it. So I think Teemo would be a good joke character while also being a Yordle. That kind of leads me to believe that he is somewhat likely. Even over Kaisa. It kind of makes me sad to put Teemo over Kaisa, but because there should be Yordle representation to get like a little bit of everyone from the Runeterra universe into 2xKO, I think he's somewhat likely, albeit on the lower end of the scale. Next we have Tristana. So everything I just said about Teemo, but also not being Teemo. So she's very unlikely, maybe somewhat. Could we put her like over Corki? Yeah, I think Tristana would actually do a bit better than Corki. So A whole tier above Corki though, I don't know about all that. I'm gonna put her at the top of very unlikely, because yeah, I just don't see Tristana making it in, especially when the Yordle rep is gonna be 1 or 2 of them at most. The competition's gonna be really tight. It's gonna be between like Teemo, Poppy, Vex, Kled, and Rumble. Tristana's not making it, okay, if that's her competition. Next we have Twitch, the stinky rat. Twitch is, he's pretty linear as well in the same way that Sivir is. So pretty much everything that Sivir, you know, everything I said about her, I could say about him. So I think he's very unlikely. I think he's really cool. I love Twitch. He's like one of my favorite characters and I would want him in, but I just don't see how Stealth Rat that just shoots crossbow and makes people stinky makes it into a fighting game. So yeah, that's my take on him. Varus, another bow character like Ashe. And that's pretty much all he does. See, here's the thing, right? We have Ezreal already basically being a shoo-in because of his character. He's going to be our bow guy. He has a mystic bow. It's pretty much the same thing. He can do everything, you know, thematically that Ashe and Varus could do, but he's going to do it better and it makes more sense. So Varus is also going to go down here in the somewhat unlikely category. I'd put him pretty equivalent to Ashe. Now, Vayne. Vayne's really cool. Vayne would do a lot of tumbling, she'd have mobility, kind of in the same way as Kaisa, but maybe even more so, because tumble's such an important part of her kit. And 3-hit passive, I don't know how they're going to put a 3-hit passive in 2x KO, hey, but hey, maybe. What else does she do? Condemn, and she ults and goes into stealth. Maybe. She also scraps because she's like a monster hunter. She's like Van Helsing. So I could definitely see Vayne being a hard maybe. Definitely not in the likely section yet, but definitely not unlikely either. I'm kind of middle of the road with Vayne. So next we have Xayah. Now, Xayah Rakan is something I would desperately want in 2x KO. So considering that, is that going to alter my opinion of her on this list? Probably. That automatically makes me want to put her at the maybe at the least, because I think Xayah Rakan would be really cool. They're meant to be played together. 2x KO is a 2v2 game. You're meant to be playing together, and if they want like those Xayah Rakan mains, like duos from League of Legends to play their game, they're gonna add them both. Are they going to be in base roster though, is my question. Probably not. I don't think there's enough room in the 14 character base roster to also have Xayah Rakan immediately. I actually feel like they're going to come out in the future as like free DLC. Of course, they're just going to add things to the game. So Xayah Rakan is going to be added. I don't think they're going to make it in base. So that means I'm going to put Xayah in somewhat likely, because I think she's going to make it one day. It just makes sense, right? Xayah Rakan, 2v2. 2x KO, 2v2 fighting game. Like, it just kind of makes sense. And last but not least, we have Zeri. Zeri. Kiting and shooting and goes over walls and big electric field. No, I don't really see Zeri making it in. I actually feel like she's on the lower end of the very unlikely, just because she'd be really hard to translate. She'd also be really, really annoying. Yeah, especially, no, Zeri's not making it base roster, and I also don't see her being added like later down the line, unless they're just adding everyone at some point, which is probably not going to happen, of course. So yeah, Zeri's probably going to be sticking it out in the very unlikely. I could probably put her in somewhat, but I just don't see her having the same chance as Varus, Quinn, Draven, or Ashe, because they have like a little bit more tangible kits to work with. And there you go, that's my completed Marksman tier list. Again, make sure to comment your placements or what champions you want in the game. By the way, I'm going to be hosting fighting game nights in my Discord server, so feel free to hit up the link in the description if you want to join and practice for 2xKO's release. Again, I'm also a mod over on the 2xKO subreddit, so make sure you join the sub if you want to stay caught up on news and updates. And that's it for this one. Please like and subscribe if you thought this video was informative or entertaining. I'll be releasing more 2xKO content in the near future. Also follow me on Twitch if you want to catch me live. Thank you so much for watching and have a good one. Laters.